Hello again, Fishalots. This is John with Fishing with Johnnyfishalot, and in this episode I'm going to show you how to tie a monofilament or fluorocarbon leader material to your braided main line using the FG knot. And in this episode I'll do a step-by-step tutorial about what I believe is the easiest and most effective way to tie this knot. And we're going to create tension on this line while tying it just using our fingers as well as our foot. And that's going to ensure that this braid digs into this monofilament so that your knot doesn't slip. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, to create this all-important tension on the line, what I'm going to do is I'm going to double up the line just like this, and I'm going to have my tag end here, which I'm going to wrap around my pinky finger and my index finger. Now, I would just be careful about watching YouTube channels or tutorials where you do this without any tension on the line. Tension here is very important because simply without the tension, you're not ensuring that this braid is wrapping neatly around the mono, and you're ensuring that this braid is not cutting into the mono. Now here's our mono. Now I'm creating tension on the mono, as you can tell right here, by just stepping on the spool. So again, this is super easy. You can do it on a boat, on a kayak, on the shore, in your house. I don't need props. I don't need a rod holder. I don't need to wedge my rod into two chairs or my dining room table or anything like that. This is all you need. I'm going to use my middle finger here to grab the mono with each wrap, and I'll show you exactly how it's done. So we're going to start with a wrap furthest away from me, just like that. That's our first wrap. I'm going to use my other hand to pull the mono through to the other side. Just like that. And that's it. That's literally how you tie the knot. You're just going to go opposite ends, one after the other, just like that, and you're going to tie the knot. And so you could tell here how easy this is to do. Here, I'll do it real slow one more time. See, I'm going to grab it with my middle finger, pull it through, and that's going to create the twist in the knot. And then the other side, just like that. See that twist in the line? That's what's creating the FG knot. And so you could tell here, which I'll kind of speed it up, you could tell once you get good at this, you could tie this knot easily within a minute, under a minute if you're really good at it. No need to rush it. But you're just going to keep doing that, keep wrapping it until that line cinches nice and good. Now, what I would recommend here for this is you do 17 wraps. Now, I'm talking and I'm filming and I'm trying to tie the knot all at the same time, so it's difficult for me to keep track, but for the purposes of this tutorial, let's call that good at 17 wraps. But you want to do about 17 wraps for this line to make sure that it cinches. These wraps are all nice and neat. They're all along the leader material there. They're not overlapped. They're not overwrapping each other, and that's going to make a really nice, neat FG knot. So the next step here is to find your tag end, and you're going to do a half hitch knot over your leader material as well as your main line right here. So here's our first half hitch. Just wrap it over like this. Pull it through. And we're going to cinch it down, just like that. Now I did that one was over, so the next one I'm going to do under, just like that. It's good just to switch it out, just because you don't want, it just adds to the security of those wrappings. There you go, you're going to cinch that down here. Now, this is the main part about this knot. Now this is why it was so important to create tension in the line when we made these neat wraps, is now what you're going to do is you're going to cinch it down. You're really going to cinch it down. So I'm going to grab the leader, or I'm sorry, my main line material right here, and what I recommend using is actually a rag. So I was going to wrap it around my finger, but I'm going to use a rag here because this braid will cut you, and cut you something fierce too. So I'm going to make a lot of wraps around my hand because I'm going to put a lot of pressure on this knot, and I'm going to wrap it around my hand like that, the mono side, and now there's our knot, and now I'm going to put quite a bit of pressure on this to make sure it cinches down. Let me show you that real fast. All right, so I got the rag in my one hand so the braid doesn't cut me, and I'm really going to cinch this down hard. The mono also hurts, by the way, but mono doesn't cut you nearly as bad as braid will. So just be careful about that. There you go, I'm cinching it down. I could already see that these wraps have dug into the monofilament, and that's where the strength of this line is. We're going to trim this all up and finish this off with 2 more half hitches, and then we're going to call it a day. So we're going to cut this pretty close to the braid right there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish it off with 2 more half hitches on the braid itself. So there we go. I just want to create some tension on my braid here. Sorry, just knock over my camera too while I'm at it. There you go. So there's your half hitch. Tied down. We're going to do one more half hitch. And that will be your FG knot. There we go. Just going to cinch it down again. Now take a look. Now that is your FG knot. If my camera again would just focus. I'm having trouble here, guys, getting the camera to focus. There you go. And that is your FG knot. So you can tell this line or this knot is not any bigger than the monofilament. It's neat, it's thin. This will spool right through your guides and your inserts on your guides. Super easy. It's just a great effective knot to use when tying a larger diameter leader to a lesser diameter main line. And that is the real purpose of the FG knot, and this is by far the strongest connection between knots that you could tie without using tools. Like the PR knot, you need a bobbin for a tool. I hope you enjoyed this episode, Fishalots, and if you did, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so when I post new content like this, you'll be notified. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll see you out there in the water.